Well, our next keynote is another amazing individual in the business community. And before I introduce him, I do have to tell you about a joke with Mark Mazel. You know, they're coming and trying to understand our world as we are talking about assessment. And many of you know that a Lexile is a reading level. And Mark's famous thing is it a Lexus? What is that? And so we always tease him about the whole Lexus business when we're talking about Lexiles. We would like for their Lexiles to be as expensive as a Lexus, Mark. Okay, so at this point, I would also like to introduce one of our business partners that is a keynote today. That's an amazing individual that served as the co-chair for dual credit, college credit. And he just kept that group moving along, very inspiring, and it's Mr. Don Babcock. Come on up, Don, as I give your profile. He is the Director of Economic Development for NIPSCO. And NIPSCO currently serves 1.1 million customers as the largest energy distribution company in Indiana. He was raised in Highland with 35 years of experience in business and numerous leadership positions at NIPSCO. He is currently chairman of the Northwest Indiana Forum. He's the past chairman of Energy Solutions Center in Washington, D.C., and we are privileged that he serves on our Ready NWI committee. So thank you, Don, for being here, and give us a great keynote.
Well, thank you, Peggy. Is this mic on? Maybe it's not on.
It's just for the video, Don.
Oh, it's just for the video. Oh, all right. Well, thank you for that kind introduction, Peggy, and so pleased to be here today. And thank you all for coming out. I'm pleased to follow Mark Mazel, and he had a very distinguished career at our company and has been a long-term mentor of mine. And I'm so pleased to work with him at the forum, and I'm their current chair, but now I get to work with him. He's our president and CEO and is literally setting Northwest Indiana on fire. Also, I want to give special thanks to Linda Walishansky and Eric Bond and of course, Peggy Buffington here for all their hard work on this. Nancy, of course, our support from Cell has just been outstanding. But beyond the thank yous, I want to do something very special here. I want to talk about who I am. My name is Don Babcock. I head up economic development for NIPSCO, and I am ready. The question is, are we collectively ready? And I'm not so sure about that answer. I think there's many people that are involved here now that are committed. Many people from the business community and from academia are committed. But are we ready to change our economy and to literally set the Midwest, and for that matter, the nation, on fire with our level of creativity, innovation, and drive, and focusing on gaining competitive advantage? Mark talked to you a little bit about some of the competitive advantages we have here in Northwest Indiana. I'll get into them a little bit more in a minute because they are tremendous. But our big challenge goes back, and let me back us up to 1978. 1978, Northwest Indiana, average wage, 125% of the national average. We're making 25% more money than anybody else in the nation. Fast forward, 2008, we've fallen to 89%. What happened over those 30 years? A 36% decline in our wages? Are we losing our competitive advantage? In some respects, yes. Other respects, no. One of the big reasons for that change in dynamic, in terms of income level, Mark pointed to it here, was the consolidation of the steel industry. A concentration of, or increase in productivity, however you want to talk about it, of a reduction of 50,000 jobs. And not just 50,000 jobs, 50,000 good-paying jobs. Jobs that are probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. A $3 billion negative hit on our economy. And what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sit here and whine? Are we just going to go, oh, geez, Liz, the steel industry's tightening up. I don't know what I'm going to do. Hell no, we're not. But that's what we have been doing for the last 30 years. We haven't made a strong enough connection between our business community and academia and set higher goals for each other to literally change our economy, because we have it all. And not only do we have it all, we still have our steel industry. Oh my God. Anyone in any community, in any region, literally around the world, would love to have our steel business. They still employ 18,000 people. Their payroll's $1.8 billion. But we have to do better. And Mark, I'm so pleased that he mentioned Fronius Solar here in Portage. And that's a good example of doing better. Literally, an international company coming to Northwest Indiana because they see the competitive advantages that many of us at a local level do not see. We do not see Lake Michigan. We do not see our proximity to Chicago. We don't see the vast rail and roads and pipes and wires and our great institutions here that we have all around us. We whine, 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 whine. So are you getting ready? Yes. Well, that's good. Good start. All right. All right, let me trying to pump you guys up a little bit. I know you need a little bit more coffee, but you know, certainly some potential to get engaged here. Whoops, I think I passed this up. All right, one of the things that is part of our collective challenge, right, is we have to create a better future for our children. And part of that is getting them to dream about a better future. Dream about having a better job than their mom or dad had. Not dreaming about serving burgers or ice cream or, you know, helping somebody at an amusement park. I mean, those are all great starter jobs. You know, I'm going to refer to a little bit that the tourism activity in many cases has many, many starter jobs. But there's better jobs out there, and we need to think about having young people thinking about having a better job. And I know we're talking here, you know, thinking things start 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Let me back up to it. It really starts even before you get in school, some of the success by 6 stuff. But for certain, by the time you get out of 3rd grade, you got to be able to read. Because if you can't read, you are not going to be able to gain the technical skills that you need to be able to compete in the global marketplace. We're all about improving our personal value proposition. And every day we should be working at that. And we should be working at improving the personal value proposition of everybody else around us. And it starts with here, but it also starts with looking somebody in the eye, shaking their hand, picking them up, helping them out, sharing some of the experiences that you had to help you get a little bit better. You know, we're all the product of our experiences. Why wouldn't we value each other's experience? I love our current approach here in Gary, by the way. Our new mayor there, Karen Freeman Wilson, she has gone well beyond diversity. She talks about inclusion and genuineness and learning from each other. So what we need to do here is inspire more of our young people, spend more time collaborating between academia and industry, and figuring out how to solve this problem to get above this 89%. I'm certainly not satisfied with that, and I don't think any of us in this room are satisfied with that. Look at this opportunity. I love this chart that I was so pleased that Linda worked on. This is a 5-year projection of jobs in Northwest Indiana. 3,400 new jobs coming up in manufacturing, 6,100 in healthcare, 4,500 transportation distribution, 3,500 in construction trades. You know, I was talking to Joe Court, Ton and Blank. He was whining a little bit. Joe doesn't whine very much, but because he's generally very positive, but he was whining about this, and that is that he's very active in the trades over in the Michigan City area, LaPorte County, and he's also doing some more stuff over here in Northwest Indiana. He's their vice president of development at Ton and Blank. You can only get 1 or 2 kids to sign up for the construction trades, literally offering free scholarships. Oh, geez. And I don't think it's that they don't think that, I just think it's just a lack of understanding of what it is like to build things and how exciting that can be. And getting in the construction trade is a good paying job. I mean, very good paying job. But it takes skills. And when you get in the construction trade, then you start thinking a little bit more about, geez, will that steel beam really hold all that weight? How do I figure out the slope on that roof? What's the square footage of the roof in terms of trying to figure out how much material it actually takes to cover the roof? The square footage on the sides, the volume inside the home, the pressure in the water coming through the home, the HVAC system. As you get more knowledge and get more competence about doing things, you gain competence and you want to learn more. And that takes us into this lifelong learning approach that we should all be about. So picking vocation or college prep, you're not doomed to continue down either one of those tracks. The opportunity is to switch back and forth over the tracks and to continue to learn throughout your whole life. So many great jobs ahead of us here, at least 27,000 in the next 5 years. This little chart, I think it's in some of the materials. It was certainly in the Northwest Indiana Reader report. Says right now, 2012, jobs requiring post-high school credentials, 160,000. Our age population right now, 25 plus with, it should say post-high school credentials, is 147,000. So only 26% of us. The projection here is by 2025 that 80% of the jobs in Northwest Indiana are going to require a post-high school credential. And still at that point, only 60% of our population is anticipated to have post-high school credentials. So that's part of the gap we've got to fill. One of the things that is at least part of this collaboration is getting young people dreaming about working back in the steel industry. We still produce 25% of the nation's best steel here. I mentioned the $1.8 billion positive impact on our economy just from their payroll, let alone their capital investment here. Does anybody know that U.S. Steel is in the middle of a carbon alloy construction for $220 million? How about ArcelorMittal? Anybody know what their latest announcement was? New plate mill, right? New plate mill, make better steel. Where do you think the North American Center for Research and Development is for ArcelorMittal? Anybody got an idea? East Chicago. All of North America. Everybody hear of S in Motion? S in Motion, that's steel in motion. People at that R&D center figured out that, hey, some people, we should be having more steel in our cars and maybe a little bit less aluminum, maybe a little less plastic, because steel can compete. But steel can't compete if you don't get to lighter weights. Now, they couldn't break into the steel industry to get to lighter weight without getting involved with their R&D group and figuring out how new cars are constructed. So they got in and worked closely, literally got the specs for some of the new cars, worked on the frames and some of the complexities of the construction, used a little bit of higher cost steel, maybe some lower cost steel, remodified the construction, still using steel, 14% less weight. By the way, number one recycled product in the world, steel. So when you talk about green, think about steel. Because, and another nice thing about, you can think about green here in Northwest Indiana, we got big jobs related to that stuff. I heard, one of the gentlemen at Arcelor was telling me the other day that they're going to be hiring some more people as part of the steel worker of the future. People making $50,000, $60,000, starting right off the back, frontline job. Guess how much money they make maybe 5, 6 years later if they want to work hard at it? $100,000. How many young people think about getting out of school and figuring out how would I make $100,000? That's what we're about. But it does take a change in terms of education, technical background, general education, concentrations, mechanical technologies, electrotechnologies. I'm going to argue that our collective challenge here is to continue to keep steel in Northwest Indiana. And labor and leadership is a big part of that. Obviously, the other components, Mark mentioned the great assets we have in this region is proximity to Chicago, rail. A lot of their stuff comes in through the St. Lawrence Seaway, or product goes out through the Mississippi down to international markets. In order to understand the complexity of how products get in and out of this area, there's a big move afoot here a while back to close the Chicago locks. Multi-billion-dollar negative hit on our economy if that ever happened. So lots of opportunity for us to work together. I do have to give the NIPSCO pitch here. We need some more people at NIPSCO. You know, Mark and I are getting up there. Right? I'm getting up there a little faster than he is, but I'm not going to be around forever, although some people think that could happen at the work. They might like me to move somewhere. But a lot of opportunity. Our company's committed over the next 10 years to probably invest $5 billion in Northwest Indiana. And it's going to take some highly qualified people to do that. And I hope you inspire some of your young people in your schools to do that and join us. Last point here, I've been talking about regional optimism. This little slide here is a group of Chinese, they were the, I don't know, editorial staff. They were coming here from overseas to see what we do right or do wrong in Indiana or in the Midwest or any place. And you know, people were scared to death that we were going to show them Gary, Indiana, and it was all going to be negative, and that got all this pollution and everything else. You know what they found? They found a core of people here that know how to make steel. They found a core of people here that believe that tomorrow is a better day. And they found a group of people here that recognize now our water's cleaner, our air's cleaner, our soil is cleaner, and we're still producing great stuff. Because absent the creation of wealth, you won't have a clean environment. So they left this area. Instead of what people were scared to death, they're going to hammer Northwest Indiana again on the negative side. They're like, oh my God, you guys get it. You're not there yet. You got a lot of challenges ahead of you, but there's plenty of opportunity ahead of you. And they're taking that back to China and other places and telling them about how we did it. And that is, again, our collected challenge. So I'm ready. One more time. Are we ready? Yes. Better. Thank you. By the way, I do want to give a plug for Mike Baird here, who's coming up after me. He's used to be our previous chairman of the board at the Northwest Indiana Forum. He's currently on the city council in Valparaiso. And he is a long-term Northwest Indiana banker who has made a significant contribution to Northwest Indiana in many ways, and certainly been a big mentor of mine. So Mike, I think Peggy's going to give you a better introduction than that, but proud to be here and proud to be with you. Thank you.